Welcome into Gamesthetic episode 187. Hopefully you're having a phenomenal day today, whatever day you're listening or watching this episode. This one might be a little bit more organized than last week, but last week ended up being a really fun episode, but it might be a little bit more organized. I don't know. Zach's over here shaking his head. He disagrees with me. Zach, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Think it's going to be an organized episode today?
Maybe.
We'll see. All right. John, how are you with your new toy over there?
I'm doing all right. I have a feeling you in particular are happy with at least one of the topics today because you were so excited when I sent you the article.
I really was, man. Like when he sent me the article, I'm just like, oh my god, it happened! Holy shit! And what we are referring to is Concord. I'm gonna touch on that as well as some other Sony stuff. But yes, I am pretty. It's just so funny to me. Like it's like you asked, like, why do you want to talk about this thing, dude? It's just fascinating. The whole journey of it has just been fascinating.
The reason I kept asking that is, like, every time you wanted to bring it up was because before now, it was kind of you're just kind of kicking them while they're down.
Yeah.
Now it's
Now it's in the grave. So now you're kicking the grave.
Yeah. Now it's actually more newsworthy instead of just,
picking on them.
Yeah, just picking on them.
Dude, it's just fascinating. Okay.
I don't know why.
It's just everything behind it, where it's like it's been in development for 8 years. They spent a ton of money on it. They took like 15 minutes of a state of play dedicated. This was going to be the money maker. 2 weeks closed. It's just so damn fascinating to me just how this whole thing is transpired. So we'll chat about that. We'll also chat about some other Sony stuff, some couple comments I thought was interesting. Astro Bot came out. I want to play it so damn bad. So damn bad I want to play this game. It looks fantastic. Got a bunch of reviews on that. And then the casting of Frank Stone came out this week. Did you guys play any more last night?
Nope.
No? So just what we did the other night?
Yep.
Okay. Well, that came out, so shout out to that. So we'll chat about that. And then we'll chat about whatever else, I guess. We have 3 camps now. So, I don't know. It'll be perhaps a little bit more organized of an episode than last week. We'll see. I don't know. But overall, boys, how we feeling today? We feeling all right?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah, it's just one of those days, right? One of those days. I feel you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then John's got a new statue over there.
Yeah.
You want to show it off?
Yeah.
For the video, that is. Look at this. Look at there you go. Ooh,
That's
look
a
at
solid
that.
statue.
It is. Yeah. Look at that God of War 2018 Kratos Atreus statue, like from the collector's edition of the game.
Yeah. Had no intentions of getting it. Just got a random call from Alex.
Yeah.
Last week. And almost immediately was like, yeah, pick it up.
Yeah, dude. I mean, $50. That thing was $50. Had the original box and everything. Like, are you kidding me? I mean, what a deal. I mean, you're looking at the price of that thing. It's like $70 to $150 for just the statue. I mean, come on.
Yeah, and it's also one where, like, I wanted this originally.
Yeah.
And just didn't buy the collector's edition in time.
Right.
So nice to actually have it now.
Yeah. See, that gives me hope that maybe one day I'll come across like the Spider-Man like PS4 or something. Because I've always said to myself, if I ever come across it, I'm getting it. So I found out that my former temp boss, because he's no longer with the company now, he actually has one of the Spider-Man PS4s when he worked at Games. I tried to haggle it off of him, but he wouldn't budge. I may have to hit him up again. He's like, hey, you're not with Old Castle anymore, buddy. You want to hook me up with that PS4? I'll pay you. So, but yeah, if I ever come across that thing, it's game over. I want it. Yeah, that's gonna be a piece for me for sure. There's a lot of collector stuff out there that I wish I could have got and just didn't get.
Yeah, I definitely feel that because there's been, most recently the Black Myth Wukong.
Yeah, both of those. The one that I really wanted, that one went very fast.
It was
gone instantly.
Yeah, it went up for sale and was gone.
Yeah, and that was the one that actually had the Wukong statue, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because the other one had the crown, I think, which that was cool too. But the one with the statue is the one that I wanted. The one with the crown was up for at least a couple days.
Yeah, but if I was going to get one, I would have wanted the statue.
Yeah, no, 100%. I would have wanted the statue too. Another one that I really wish I could have got was the Spider-Man 2 one. That Venom, Miles, and Peter statue is sick. Wish I could have got that one. God, I feel like there's an upcoming collector's edition that I really want but I'm not gonna be able to get it. But I can't remember who it was.
Metaphor?
See, I thought hard about Metaphor because it randomly came back in stock for the Xbox version on Walmart like a week ago, and I almost considered pulling the trigger on it, but I ended up backing off. I don't know. I know Once Upon a Time, even though I never would have played it, I really wanted the Dragon Ball FighterZ Collector's Edition because that Goku statue was sick, but didn't end up pulling the trigger on that one either. Maybe I'll just find that statue one day in the wild. I don't know.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
That's one where I'm kind of like, there's a 10,000 cool Goku statues out there.
Yeah. I mean, I've got my little Goku shrine in my office. I mean, I've got some pretty cool ones in there. But if I ever come across that one, that'd be kind of cool to have. I know there are some Mass Effect figures from the BioWare website that I've missed out on that I really want. I've only got one of them. I missed out on Garrus. That's upsetting. Missed out on Thane, too. I got Tally, though, so I got one. So, shout out to that, I guess. But anyway, you guys ready to jump into stuff?
Sure.
All right, start going through it. So, yeah, I guess first we'll start off with just Sony stuff because there's like it's basically broken down into three different things when it comes to Sony stuff. So I guess the quick one to get out of the way is to shout out to Astro Bot. Astro Bot reviews have come out, 94 on Metacritic. If you take away the Elden Ring DLC, it's now it's the highest rated game of the year, beating out Final Fantasy. So shout out to that. 95 on OpenCritic, and then it's like 10 plus 10 out of 10s, like 8 plus 9 out of 10s. I mean, with this sort of like reviews and critical acclaim, like I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a Game of the Year nominee lock at this point. You know, I feel like that, like Black Myth, Final Fantasy, like those three are now. I feel like those are three locks at this point. Like if Astro Bot didn't make it, that'd be astonishing with how with the scores are. It's like I said, it's currently the highest rated game of the year once you take out Shadow of Erdtree on Metacritic. So shout out to that. I really want this damn game.
That game, like, even from everything we saw about it before it came out as well, that game, I mean, cause we talked about it, it's like Astro Bot could essentially just be like the Mario
for Sony.
Yeah.
And that game is just everything about it, like aesthetically, gameplay wise, that is just made for people to enjoy.
Yeah. I mean, like I saw some people talking about how it's like one of the best platformers to ever come out. Is how they would put it.
Nice.
You know, some people saying it's by far the best platformer since at least you know Kirby: The Forgotten Land, which was also a very good platformer. But I mean, it's being talked up there to be like one of the best platformers in platforming history. Like, I mean, that's the conversation I'm seeing from journalists that I follow, like Jason Schreier and stuff like that. That's what I'm seeing. So it's like, dude, I want this game so damn bad. Like, I bought Imeo because I didn't want it to run out and, like, it'd be expensive as hell later. So I don't regret that purchase. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, I could have bought Astro Bot. It's like, I'm going to play Imeo later. I just got it today. So I'm going to play Imeo later tonight because apparently that's also fantastic. I saw, like, one Nintendo YouTuber I follow, Kit Ellis. He commented on Twitter. He's just like... It's just wild that no one's really talking about Imeo that much when meanwhile Nintendo made one of like the most interesting and disturbing and just brutally intense stories that I've played in a very long time. So it's like, shout out to Nintendo for that, I guess. So looking forward to that. But god damn, I want Astro Bot. I looked at it today, it's like our Target nearby, they got like 5 in stock. I'm like, god dang, I want Astro Bot so damn bad. Costco had the controller and game combo for $120. Wanted that too. So I want this damn game.
Why didn't you message me about that one?
Sorry.
It had a controller too.
My bad. I should have messaged you.
I'd have taken the controller. You could have the game.
Well, fuck. Yeah, I should have messaged you. My bad, bro. Who knows? It might still be open. That was posted earlier. It might still be open. I don't know. I'll go look. But I do really want this game. Hopefully I'll get it here in the next like couple weeks or so. I get paid next Friday, so maybe next Friday I'll pick it up. But with the conversation that like Astro Bot could be like their Mario and stuff, I feel like the massive success of this game from like a review standpoint, a sales standpoint, and everything, the controller sold out immediately, you know, the whole 9 yards, right? And then on the flip side, we have Concord, which games as a service, whatever, disaster. Like when I say disaster, it's more so just like no one wants to spend the money for. Because like in terms of reviews, it wasn't like a Golem.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't a JJK Cursed Clash, which is still currently the lowest rated game of this year. Shout out to that at like a 42. It wasn't Kong Skull Island, but it was just a mid-ass game that no one wanted to spend $40 for.
I was about to say it was unfortunately just a game that came out, which I mean, in terms of idea, isn't terrible. It's just nobody wants that right now.
Yeah.
Well, the problem is, and I mentioned it multiple times, was like, why would you pay $40 for Concord when you can jump on Steam and find a myriad of free like hero shooters and that have more to them, more game modes and all of that. That, I mean, honestly, they all would have had more players than Concord. But yeah, why would you pay for that experience when you can get a better experience for like a free game?
Exactly. And like, it's just, there was nothing that stood out about this game, like in terms of its gameplay. It was very bland. Like the world was super interesting. The characters were super interesting, especially if this was a single player narrative. But it's like what Zach just said. It's like no one just wanted this. No one wanted this. Like John was interested when the trailer started, and in the moment we saw gameplay, John was like, well, I'm out.
Yeah, that's the sad thing here, because it's quite possible this game, if it was a single player experience, might have done fairly well. But in terms of multiplayer, just, nobody wanted this.
Yeah.
It's like, speaking of my reaction to it, like from their cinematic trailer when it was debuted, I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, oh man, this is really cool. This is awesome. Cut to gameplay. I go, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't care anymore.
Exactly. It was that quick. Like, it's just like, no, see, I enjoy hero shooters, but like this, I can look at an IP, I can look at an idea like this and say, that probably would have been better off as a narrative experience. Because like, if you would have really just dialed it in and went for like that Guardians of the Galaxy level kind of vibe with this little ragtag team, dude, you could have had a banger original IP.
And they were going to sort of focus on that because it was the whole thing. Like, they were going to have weekly cinematic storylines for each of the characters.
Like, I don't know, man. Like, this is such a baffling experience. And it's like, it's so funny to me that they just immediately like, oh, yep, we're done. We're just gonna go.
They pulled the plug real quick.
Like they didn't even attempt to give it some sort of life by like adding it part of PlayStation Plus or making it or free to play and issuing refund at that point, which obviously would have lost money regardless. But it's like there was not even an attempt. It was just like, it's done. It's done. And now the physical version is selling for a lot of money.
I bet it is.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. If you could find a physical version at a store nearby, I would buy it. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, that's going to be a collector's piece in gaming history. Because like in terms of in gaming history, like it's tough to say what is the biggest flop in gaming history. I think that is tough to say. I know a lot of people like to immediately point to ET because like the game was literally buried. So it's like I get that too. But it's like there's a lot of debate on it. But this is at least one of the top flops in history.
Well, I mean, I would say this is the biggest flop in modern gaming history. 100%.
Easily.
I could agree to that.
And like realistically, it is a contender for the biggest flop in gaming history.
It is.
Just full stop. Because it's not just, the game came out and like nobody wanted it. They immediately issue refunds or anything. It's the time put into it.
Yeah.
It's the money put into it. Like $250 million, 8 years. And like full confidence that the game was going to succeed, and it comes out and everybody goes, yeah, why would we want this?
Yeah.
They were so confident they aired it at the same time as Marvel Rivals.
Right. Part of the same state of play.
It's such a it's so
crazy,
so baffling that they would that they would be so confident in it, because who's been like, what part of any gaming community is going, you know what we really need right now? A hero shooter.
Right.
We need a generic hero shooter.
Yeah.
With an interesting backstory that has no bearing on the game.
That sounds fun.
Somebody was.
I mean, like compare that to. I mean, I keep bringing it up, but it's because it's the total opposite story right now. Deadlock.
Yeah, yeah.
Deadlock is still invite only, early alpha state playable. Gets up, is hitting like 170,000 peak players every day, close to 200,000. You know, and I mentioned it to Zach. One of the characters, their backstory just says he's an asshole. It's like you don't. It's like people are gonna play the game that feels good.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like you have Concord come out, and I mean, a couple hundred people were playing it.
Yep.
And then you have another game that came out that, I mean, people. It's like people who haven't played MOBAs really might call it a hero shooter to start with before they get into it really. I mean, but at the end of the day, difference between a hero shooter and a MOBA is not terribly different.
No.
And on one side, you have all this development time and money that just completely flops. Nobody wants it. On the other side, people can't stop playing it.
Right.
It's like, I mean, hell, this morning, me and a couple buddies were waiting on the servers to come online this morning so we could play. We were in as soon as the servers came up. But it's just, oh man, it's so weird to see that difference at the exact same time.
Right. Just extreme vast differences. Like I said, like everything about this game is just so damn fascinating to me. Because like I mean, like in terms of what you said, where it has contention to be the biggest flop of all time, it totally does. Because like the one thing you gotta keep in mind is not only like the money spent and like the time spent, but like this is a notable company, of course. This is not a third party, like a third party random studio that put out a game that just flopped like the day before. Like this is Sony. Like it's not even a notable third party. This is Sony. This is PlayStation. Like this is supposed to be one of their IPs, one of their big games of the service they want. Like, dude, it's just so baffling to me how
the
this
other
gone
thing
down.
was if like when you actually read their statement about it when they talked about shutting it down, they open it up with something along the lines of dear Concord community. It's like, what community?
Right.
It's like you barely have enough people playing to call it a community.
Yep.
And it's like they go on to say like, oh well, it seems like there was a disconnect between what we expected to happen and what happened. It's like, yeah, just nobody wanted it.
Right.
I don't know who you were marketing this game for.
You know, in terms of also what you were talking about just seeing like the vast difference between like the excitement around like Deadlock and like Concord, the same thing can also be said for just like how crazy of a bomb Concord is. And then they just had the mass success of Helldivers just a few months ago. Like, just the contrast between them is so different. And it's just baffling to me. Like, that's why everything about this damn game is so freaking fascinating.
It's also one where, like, in the past few years, we've gotten used to Sony just knocking shit out of the park.
Right.
And then Concord happens, and it's like, oh, okay, you're not infallible.
Right. Oh my gosh, dude. No, I did see that because I was curious. I was trying to refresh my memory on some others, whatever. And Concord has officially made the biggest commercial failures list on Wikipedia. So shout out to that.
All right.
Yeah, it made that list already.
I just would. Concord lasted 2 weeks.
Yep.
It made it 10 days before they shut the game down.
Yep.
That's the Sony side of it.
Yep.
The Microsoft side of it. Redfall is still up.
Yes, it is.
I've seen people
being
say
worked
that.
on, and people are. There's probably more people playing Redfall than there were playing Concord.
Oh, most definitely. Because I was just thinking about it. I mean, on the opposite spectrum of Xbox had Redfall last year.
Yep.
And yeah, now Sony gets Concord. And because all I could think was like, was it the same idea, guys, for both these games?
Right.
Man, you know, for Concord, like when we did our predictions at the beginning of the year, I made the bold prediction there would be no big like first party flops this year, and I probably could have made some arguments. I got nothing now.
I was about to say Concord just completely sank that one.
If it wasn't for Concord, it's like I probably could have made some arguments here and there.
Right.
Because I mean,
Did you get reminded of that when I posted in the Discord?
no,
Okay.
I had already thought of that, But no, like, because I forget, was Suicide Squad last year or this year?
That was
was
this
this
year,
year.
and it was a flop. It is also on the biggest commercial failures list for Wikipedia.
You know, honestly, probably could have tried to make an argument for it though, because there is.
I mean, it's still live. There's
still-
in season 2.
It's still live. They've made multiple seasons, and people are still playing it.
Yeah.
They got Lady Frost currently,
Oh,
or
okay.
Mrs. Freeze, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the flops prediction, that one.
That was still a bold one.
That
We knew
was
from
bold.
day one.
Yeah, no, I don't know what made me randomly remember our predictions. I was going through the Discord, like cleaning up some stuff, and I clicked that channel. I noticed I hadn't posted yet from earlier this year. I'm like, oh, well, fuck, I gotta go re-listen to the episode real quick. And I had it on like 2 times speed. And I'm just going through, typing it all out as we go through. And I get to that where you're like, John's like, there will be no flops from any major publishers this year. I had to pause the video. I'm like, did he say that? I don't remember that.
Yep. I remember him saying that.
Although, I got the Pokemon offshoot, probably
did.
Legends,
Yeah.
and in the post it
yeah.
says Kalos.
Yes, no, yes, he did correctly predict Kalos Legends. He did correctly predict that. I'm giving him the point. So shout out to that. Let me see.
Like I said, I can't predict at the beginning of the year for shit, but midway I'm pretty good. By that point, I seem to have got a read on it.
Yeah. No, so for the Pokemon one, I gave you an X and I gave you 2 checks because you pretty much nailed it, right? Because like the one X you got is there's going to be a game coming out this year. That's your only X. But other than that, you did predict Legends and Kalos, so great job. Also, great job to your 6th prediction, which was Power World will come out and take over the internet for at least a month. That's actually pretty.
I know how
accurate.
these viral games work.
For at least a month. Power World is still fun, but you nailed it completely on how long it was going to take over. So shout out to that. Oh man, no, the Concord thing though, fascinating. Rest in peace, Concord. I guess.
That's gonna be one where people are gonna stop talking about it for a while.
Yeah.
It's gonna be brought up in conversations for the next 10, 15 years.
100%.
Anytime somebody, like, I think I saw a post somewhere, I don't remember where, it may have been in the comments section of like an article posted about it or something. But they basically, somebody said, yeah, Concord is essentially just going to be turned from a title to a verb now.
Damn.
It really is. That's a good way to put it. Holy shit.
Yeah, where it's like anything for the next few years that comes out and flops, people are going to be saying they Concorded it.
Yeah, oh, that's true. It's about to be part of the Urban Dictionary now. That's accurate. I was going to ask you guys this. I feel like we've already started to see that transition because I know there was the reports that Sony had already kind of pulled back on it, but they still had some planned, obviously, with Concord. Do you think this massive failure is going to you really make Sony look in the mirror and just reevaluate their entire strategy going forward? Because the strategy was 10 plus live service games coming out, and then there was reports where a lot got canceled, including The Last of Us 1. Do you think this is like with the failure of Concord and success of Astro Bot? Do you think this is going to make them reevaluate their entire strategy and just do what they do best?
Honestly, I don't think they care.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I mean, they may go back to the drawing board and like adjust some things, but I don't think it's going to change drastically.
Like overall, like the vibe I've been getting from like Sony with this news and like kind of stuff we'll talk about shortly with them is like, in their opinion, they're like, it didn't work. We'll just do another one. We'll just do something else.
Right.
It's like for them, they're like, especially with how quick they cut it off. It's like, kind of sucks that didn't work, but
Yeah, it was a very quick cutoff.
That was quick, yeah.
We'll move on to the next thing now. Because, I mean, I guess that's part of their mentality, because for the last few years, they've gotten used to just banger, 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 and they're like, oh, this one failed. Let's just get rid of it. People will forget about it, hopefully.
Yeah, people will move on. They'll forget about it until it becomes a verb, like John said. No, I mean, that's actually fair. You know, like it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, it sucks, but it's like it's a lot of money lost, but how much money is it lost for Sony? Like that's kind of the way to look at it. But there's a part of me that wants to believe it's going to make them change their strategy to some degree, where they don't have, obviously the reports where they're not doing 10 plus live service games, but they still have some. Maybe now they only have one they're going to try to dial it into, and then focus on single player experiences that they know are going to sell, like maybe like the next Horizon or the next Ghost or the next Spider-Man, or a Spider-Man spinoff. Maybe they try to revive the Great Web that, in my opinion, should have never been canceled. I think that could have been your live service game to make money, but instead we get Concord. So whatever. I don't know. The Sony strategy is fascinating.
We'll just make a new PlayStation All-Stars Brawl.
Dude, now's the time. Okay, like should have already done it. I wouldn't say now's the time, but should have already done it is the better way to put it. Should have already done it. You have more characters that you can dial it in for, to it, whatever. It's just like, should have already done this. You should have been launched, with the PS5. Should have already been a thing. But I feel like if they have one that comes out now, it's going to be like missed opportunity of the window of when it should have come out, right? But that should have 100% would have happened. But I don't know. Maybe it shouldn't have happened, because apparently the Sony CFO doesn't think they have enough IPs, which is the other talking point that I've got for the whole Sony thing, which that's a baffling comment to me. Like, you got a graveyard of dead IPs. Like, Sony arguably has more IPs than Nintendo. And Nintendo has a shit ton of IPs. Like, Sony has so many in the graveyard. And I understand, like, well, some of them being in the graveyard because they weren't, like, huge commercial successes. But it's like, at this point, like, dude, you got a massive graveyard of them, of things that people would love to see come back. Like, dude, bring something back.
Well,
give it a shot.
The other side of that is, like, part of the reason those are, like, now dead IPs is they stopped selling.
Yeah.
It's like they stopped selling, or they just didn't have any new ideas for them. Mm-hmm. So it's like, while you could look at it and go, yeah, just try to bring some of these dead games back to life, make a new one, or just make it again, or something like that. It's like, well, people are gonna remember the names of some of these and look back at the last one that came out and go, maybe they shouldn't do that.
That's fair. I will say, from like the single player experience, I mean, with how well like Astro Bot was received and just any of these single player narrative games, I would like to think a couple of the notables they have in the graveyard could maybe have a chance to come back. But then I think about like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and how it was a success in terms of reviews, but apparently in terms of sales, it like barely hit the line. So it's like, I know a lot of people always like to immediately say, make another Jak and Daxter, right?
Yeah.
Been a while for that one. I think the last one was the combat racing?
Yep.
Yeah, it was combat. No, there was a PSP one, wasn't there?
That was a
Daxter
game.
Yeah, so there's Jak 1, 2, 3, there's Daxter, there's the Jak X race, and I think there's a PS Vita or a PSP one, too.
There was a PSP. I don't remember which one's Daxter.
I mean, I knew there was
Jak and which
two.
one's
I knew there was two Dexter games. I was just thinking the second Dexter game came out before the racing one.
Yeah. The Daxter game did come out before the racing one, because I just looked at the timeline of these games recently. I want to say there was another game that came out on the PSP.
No, there was, because I had it.
Yeah, there was two Dexter games.
Okay.
I don't know if they were new games or if they were just ported.
Okay, gotcha. I know a lot of people like to immediately say, like, try to give Jak and Daxter another chance, give Sly Cooper another chance, but then Sly Cooper 4 apparently wasn't a huge success in terms of the finances.
Well, that's part of it, is like, yeah, people remember these games fondly, but a lot of times if a new one is made, it's just like a lot of the gaming space is different now. Mm-hmm. It's like those games don't hold up as well, even if they're brought into modern times. Mm-hmm. Or it's like, at least gameplay wise, they may not hold up as well.
Right.
So that's kind of why I'm like, I'm usually more interested in like new IPs coming out or reinventions of the franchises than just going back to the well and going, oh, we're gonna do this again. We're gonna take this, bring it into modern, like up to modern graphics and everything, and just make another game similar to what we did before. 'Cause I don't think that works anymore for the most part. I mean, the only people really doing that anymore are Nintendo, but the people are gonna always buy Nintendo games.
Yeah, no, they're
It's like
always
those
gonna sell.
franchise people know they're not changing too much.
Yeah.
Right. No, it was a baffling comment to me saying that we don't have many IPs. It's like, bro, what do you mean? You got a massive graveyard. Like, if you want a games as a service game, like, why not take another shot at like a Resistance or a Killzone or
And
something?
you may just be meaning in terms of IPs that they find marketable.
And that's a good point too. But again, I feel like some IPs like Jack or Sly could have a chance, especially with the reception of like an Astro Bot, like I feel like we're getting more into that era of like we want like gamers are going to be playing that versus playing a hero shooter.
Well, the success of Astro Bot in particular, I think, is because it is a reinvention of kind of the standard like platform game.
Yeah, yeah.
That also, like, I mean, because it's Astro Bot, with all the callbacks, with all like notable like franchise stuff that they've been known for showing off.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's part of the charm of the game, and also it is something new. It is something a little different, and it's like that's part of the charm of it. It's not we're gonna take these things that you all remember fondly and just try to like nostalgia bait you again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Like I said, some of these franchises that aren't around anymore, like these IPs, they're not around. Like you mentioned, Killzone, that, and it's like that. There's a reason that didn't stay around, or they stopped making it. It's just because nobody played them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it might have been back in the time where before kind of Sony took over the gaming market, but also people didn't go back to it. People haven't been excited about it, and that's how some of these franchises are. It's like, especially like you mentioned, like a Jack and Daxter and stuff like that. Yeah, there's always going to be people calling for a new one, but it's not. I mean, it's not loud enough for them to consider it, really. Or maybe they are considering it.
Right.
There may be a new one on the way for all we know.
Yeah,
But at the same time, like we keep seeing some of these franchises come back, and it's like, yeah, they do relatively well, but is it worth the investment on that, or trying to come up with something different? Because, I mean, for all we've said about Concord, how much that game failed, at least they did something new.
Right.
Granted, they put it on a hero shooter skin.
But hey, a new IP.
Oh man, new IP though. I mean, shot to that, I guess. They try to get something new, and one of the biggest disasters in gaming history.
It just proves nostalgia sells more.
That's true. That's true. Especially with what John said about like Astro Bot and just the whole vibe around it, where it has all these callbacks. Like it has callbacks from first party stuff to third party stuff. Like I saw Joker and Teddy's in it. So shout out to that. Okami's in it. That's a cool callback. Haven't seen that since Okami since the remaster that came on the Switch. Other than that, that's been a silent one. Pretty much almost any PlayStation IP, except for like there's apparently nothing Final Fantasy in the game, so that's interesting. And no Spider-Man in the game either. Also interesting. But other than that, it's like callbacks galore. There's a whole level based around where you basically get to play as Kratos and throw the axe and shit.
All
so
right.
that's cool. Like that's a huge like PlayStation just fan trip basically. Like if you're a diehard PlayStation fan, you're gonna probably love Astro Bot.
Like that's the level of nostalgia that I think needs to be aimed at these days.
Yeah, that's fair.
Where it's
That's
like
fair.
make a fun, cool experience that also ties into those nostalgia aspects of it.
All Stars 2.
This allows you to get moments like, hey, I know those people.
Yeah, exactly. I'm telling you, All Stars 2. Although they missed the window on that. But who knows? Maybe they could take a crack at it again. Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I would love to see it. I enjoyed the first one. It wasn't the perfect,
Bring back Fat Princess.
Bring back what?
Fat Princess.
What are you talking about?
You don't know this game?
No,
I know what you're talking about.
I
It
have
was
no. What are you talking
PS3.
about?
It was PS3 IP
Oh, okay.
by Sony called Fat Princess.
What is it?
It's not necessarily a tower defense. It's more of the you create units to go forward on a field to take out your enemies and take their castle. And the whole time they're protecting their fat princess and getting her more cake and other food to make her bigger.
What the fuck? Well, that one might be in the graveyard for a reason.
It got a single game in the PS3 era.
That might be in that IP graveyard for a reason.
Oh yeah, it probably is.
What the fuck? Okay. Oh jeez. But anyway, let me shout out a sponsor, and then we can keep on moving. Let's shout out Rogue Energy. You can use the referral link down below. Promo code Sparky3 to get 10% off your order. You don't have to use our promo code, though. If they got a better sale going on, feel free to use it. Just use the referral link, and you're still going to be helping out the brand, whether if you want to get the hydration line, the chill line, or the energy, whether it be powder or cans. They are all fantastic. We have multiple recommendations like Black Cherry Lemonade, Rocket Pop, Strawberry Kiwi, Grape Popsicle, and more. Dragon Fruit Mango with the hydration is also fantastic. Again, use the referral link down below, promo code Sparky3 to get 10% off your order. All right. So, casting of Frank Stone, the new horror game on the block that came out this week, made by the Until Dawn creators. Yeah, that's correct.
And an association with Behavioral Studios, which are the creators of Dead by Daylight, and Until Dawn creators, whose studio name eludes me at the moment.
Yeah. Haven't got very far into it because the three of us are doing a watch party of Zach playing it. So we haven't gotten far.
Yeah, we're still in the opening act.
Yeah, but just like kind of early impressions, what are we thinking about? Like, are we hooked? I guess is going to be the first question. Because when it comes to, horror movies, when it comes to horror games, I feel like the game's got to really be able to grasp you in like the prologue or the opening act or whatever. That's such a crucial aspect to horror, in my opinion. I mean, how are you guys feeling about just the initial start of things?
I mean, I don't know how in y'all's terms, but in my terms of how everything feels and whatnot, it definitely keeps with the Dead by Daylight tradition and making everything very atmospheric. Because like when the game first starts, which I asked you if you heard it whenever it's going through like all the logos and whatnot. Your controller's rumbling the entire time, like a film reel.
Oh, that's cool.
And everything, and just the whole atmosphere of it is very well done. Each time we go to stuff from the sort of opening prologue of the initial mill scene with Sam and Frank to going to present time when we get to visit the spooky dookie house. And then getting the full-on 80s slasher teen vibe for the opening of just, these teens are about to go do something dumb and probably end miserably.
Right. And in terms of it just being like atmospheric as well, it just seems to also be pretty detailed, as John pointed out, with some random things in the warehouse that caught his eye.
It's just like there's some fun little like attention to detail things throughout it. I was gonna ask, because I didn't ask you guys the other night. Because I tend to prefer like the modern day vibe that they have going on in the creepy old like mansion and that, as opposed to like you mentioned, like the 80s teens doing dumb stuff.
I mean, and I really like that because there is a distinct different feel for both those timelines.
Yeah.
I think I might prefer the modern day stuff more because I'm like, I want to know what's about to happen. I'm less interested in knowing what happened back in the day.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
Which it is an interesting take that we're having this spread across
multiple times.
Yes.
Yeah, because like we have the opening act, like Zach said,
which was in the 60s.
Yeah, in the 60s with Frank Stone and Sam, and now then we have the 80s timeline that you're dealing with. And
which is the filming of the movie Murder Mill, which from context we got apparently was some cursed film that led to people killing each other in the theaters.
Right. And then we're in the present day timeline with the creepy mansion. So it's like we're all over the place in terms of time.
Which is the setting of this lady invited 3 people to the mansion to acquire the only three known 8mm films of Murder Mill.
Which begs the question, how did this lady find the 3 people that happen to own these?
Connections. Lots of connections. That's my guess.
Well, I mean, and I guess we should have started this for anyone who actually cares. It is full on spoilers for this, even though we're not that far in. But it more or less says that lady, she's the one who's backing Frank and trying to get the Spider God.
Mm-hmm.
So she was also the old lady who sold them the camera in the scene with the camera. She was also the one who was Frank Stone's doctor who pushed him to start making sacrifices to the Spider God.
Yeah. Well, it's like one thing that you kept pointing out is there are a ton of just scenes where, like, just based on the lighting and the angle that it, like, you gain control of your character, it just looks like there's hooks everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love all the imagery. I mean, and one thing I also have noticed, like, for anyone who is an actual Dead by Daylight fan, there's just tons of stuff in it for you to notice and whatnot. Like the
doll collectibles.
The different weapons, just the little badge, which I'm fairly sure is Legion reference from that. And then just like the firecrackers. For me being a Dead by Daylight player knows, I wish I had money for those firecrackers. Because at some point, when Frank grabs Chris or whoever ends up with those firecrackers, I'd get a moment to try and drop the firecrackers.
Mm-hmm.
And it would save somebody. Now someone's out of firecrackers and more likely to die.
Yeah. Which is also just an important thing to note. I mean, like, if you haven't, played until dawn, like, all of our choices are going to matter at some point, throughout this game. There'd be, like, an immediate payoff, like leaving the stranger at the side of the road, which, who knows, that could come back to bite us later, even though they already...
I mean, it didn't. It said she appreciated our wariness.
Yeah, appreciate the honesty, but who knows? Maybe later on she'd be like, you know what? Nah, fuck you. You left me on the side of the road. I don't know. But no, I mean, every choice is going to matter. So yeah, you're right with the firecrackers thing. Someone might be fucked now because we don't have the firecrackers to help them.
I'm also very curious. I about started a thing. I was like, so what happens if you just fail the prologue? Does the Spider God just come down and just nothing happens? Everyone's just dead?
Right. Did you go back and check?
Not yet.
Okay. That's a good question. Yeah, with how the prologue plays out, that's a valid question here.
Yeah. So you did say we're at full spoilers, right?
I mean, might as well. I mean, we're only in the opening act, so
Yeah, because like in the initial prologue, I mean, you shot Frank in the head,
yeah,
Yep.
and he falls into the furnace,
yeah,
and is all kinds of fucked up.
yeah, because he falls onto like some spikes and like his jaw completely comes off.
But the old
Brutal shot.
The old lady narrator also made a point of saying Frank didn't die when he fell into that pit, and it's like, how?
because the Spider God, more or less, he was summoning. From more or less what I got from the bit of the opening act is he was in the finishing touches of summoning the Spider God, also known as the Entity, in Dead by Daylight, to more or less raise his presence there at that mill, and I guess consume that sawmill and bring it into the Entity's world, I guess. But because of that, he was tied enough to it where his soul more or less remained there and just needs some sort of magic voodoo to bring him back and start going on a sacrificial spree again.
Yeah, it was also funny when you were walking around trying to get to the furnace. The game alerted you. It's like, it looks like someone's been doing rituals around here, and then we had a couple minutes side mission of being like, where?
Yeah, because the game's one of the little things is just like, oh, there's symbols on the wall, and it even points it out to you. And we look, and I just happened to move too quickly, and it couldn't get it. I was just like, I looked back at the wall, and was like, the hell symbol are we looking at?
Oh, I mean, the opening act was solid. The opening prologue, though, was solid, though. I mean, I feel like it gets you kind of really invested in fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I am with the boat in the boat of John, though. It's just like Frank got all kinds of fucked up, besides just Spider God shenanigans. I'm curious to see what this guy's going to be like when he comes back. Because obviously he's coming back.
Yeah.
It's the whole game's around him. So what's this guy going to be like when he comes back? What kind of sort of Jason Voorhees level bullshit do we got going on?
I mean, he's probably honestly just going to be himself.
Probably look the exact same.
Because literally for Dead by Daylight lore, literally mostly all the killers have whatever their backstory is, for the most part, there's no actual record of them dying. They just sort of disappear, and I guess the entity picks them up and takes them to his limbo world, and they just remain looking the same for the rest of their lives within his world.
Random question: is
So-
Frank Stone a playable character?
No. What you do get if you spend $10 more on the game is a special cosmetic outfit for the Trapper to look like Frank Stone.
Oh, okay.
No, he's a completely original character for
See,
this.
that's what I thought is that he was. Because like my next question would be, could they possibly make more of these games on other killers?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, all the killers, because they've, over the last couple of years, really gone full on like the lore and whatnot of all the characters, both survivors and killers.
Is Dead by Daylight, is it still popping off?
Oh, yeah, they just released a new Castlevania chapter.
Oh, well, good for them.
I mean, it's still going strong. The only bad thing about Dead by Daylight is the community is pretty toxic on PC.
I don't doubt that.
I mean, last time I played on Xbox, it wasn't too bad, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's become toxic too.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they end up making the same sort of direction of a game for other of the killers. Like, just like maybe it's like some small scale games, you know? It doesn't
Probably
have to be
not.
a full scale game or anything.
Probably not.
Probably won't do it, but
Yeah.
I'd be curious.
I would assume they wouldn't. They would probably try to partner with another franchise to make another
Right.
game kind of like this.
Yeah, because all the killers have fairly interesting backstories. I mean, the Doctor's fairly interesting. Overall, all of them. I mean, even though I play them, I think one of the least interesting is Legion, even though that's one of my main killers I play. Legion's, it's literally just a group of 4 people who decided that they're just going to be packed murderers. Quite literally all it is.
The one negative that I have about the game is there's no director's mode. It's the one negative I've got.
Again, I don't know what the cutting room is, other besides the little bit of red. Apparently, it allows you just to go jump back to certain choices to either make a different choice or find collectibles. So it might be more like director's mode, but got to finish a playthrough to find out.
Yeah, I feel like the cutting room is more so the first thing that you said. I feel like it's the easy way once you beat the game for the first time to go through and make different choices.
Yeah, that's what it
feel
seems like,
I feel like
yeah.
that's all it is. So no director mode is an L. Like that is something that I feel like all these horror games need to have because the Quarry with director mode is fantastic. So I hope we can see that.
That may
in
be
more
just
games.
main feature for their main games.
That's
I mean,
what I
it
was gonna
could be,
say.
yeah.
Is like because these are, I mean, they're these type of games. They're fairly similar,
Yeah.
but it is different people actually going about it. So one like developer and that being like, yeah, director's mode is going to be something going forward or something like that's cool to have, and it's a nice option for those games. But it's like, I mean, Until Dawn never had a director's mode, did it?
No, it was introduced with the Quarry. I hope the remake has it.
Yeah, because it's one of those where I don't know how long like the casting of Frank Stone is, but like Until Dawn wasn't that long of a game, so like playing through it again wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, with the Quarry on direction mode, I mean, we did 2 sittings and it was like 2-3 hour sittings.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I think we did like 1 3-hour sitting, and then it was like a shorter second half of the game.
Yeah. So, I mean, somewhere was, I want to say it was around 5 hours altogether. I mean, it wasn't too bad and that was with them being partial idiots.
True.
And I mean, it's only in the Quarry because the Dark Anthology hadn't finished releasing yet when the Quarry came out. And I know it's not in House of the Devil or I forget what the third one is, which is sad because the third one was the best one in the anthology. And yeah, I can't remember what it is right at the moment.
But yeah, I mean, it would be nice for like games like that to, even after the fact, like include a director's mode or something.
Yeah.
'Cause it is really cool to have because like playing through them is kind of the intention.
Yeah.
But a director's mode where you can kind of, like what we did, it's like one person just controls it, starts it, set the controller down, and you just sit there and watch a long movie.
Yep. I really hope the Until Dawn remake has it included, especially since the Quarry had it, going over to the next thing. But I also saw this. I don't know if you guys saw this. Apparently, the Until Dawn remake team are now being faced with a ton of layoffs right before the game comes out.
Oof.
It's like, come on now, what are we doing? It's like that sucks. But I would love to see the Until Dawn remake have director's mode. Because like as much as I love Until Dawn, I've played it like 8 times. So it's like if I get the remake like pretty early, right? If it has director's mode, I'll buy it day one. I'll say it up front. I'll buy it immediately. I don't care. That's the first thing I'll do is I'll just go turn on director's mode. Because I've already played the game enough times. Like let's just go watch it. Let's go see what chaos can happen in the game when I set certain characters to be smart or stupid or whatever.
Yeah. If it had it, I'd sit down and watch it with you.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's one where, like, I never actually sat down and, like, played Until Dawn.
Right.
I watched, like, 6 or 7 playthroughs of it.
It's a great game to watch.
It's like, like, when it came out, I was following, like, video series of people playing it.
Yeah.
And that. And then it was also one where, like, hanging out with Alec, anytime somebody showed up that had never played it, he'd just turn it on and go, "You're playing this now," and then you just sit there and watch them.
Yep. Good times.
I mean, overall, though, so far, opening act, casting of Frank Stone, solid for me. I'll be curious to see where it goes as we get into the actual torments and whatnot. Because also the fact is, this is the first one of their games that has a difficulty level. Mm-hmm. In which, me being me, I just went, sure, let's go hardest one.
Yeah.
Which is called Sacrifice. And the game's just like, yeah, good luck. You're going to die.
Yeah, basically, there's no chance of survival. I feel like we're already seeing that difficulty level with like the QTE stuff you were battling.
See, I think that was just with how I have to set it up to stream it to you guys.
Okay.
Because I got to more or less cloud play it through Xbox app on my PC to cloud connect with my game, my console. Because, like, it has the DVD QTEs for generators, and I'm like had like a 2-second delay. Mm-hmm. It's bad.
Yeah. All right. Well, keep that in mind. If you're also going to play this with friends on Discord, keep that in mind.
I mean, if you're on PC, it may not be as bad, but at least for me, cloud streaming it through Xbox to Discord, QTEs are rough.
Mm-hmm. But no, I mean, overall, the beginning of the game definitely interesting. Looking forward to getting a chance to continue on with it. I did see that the game actually wasn't reviewed super well. I was really disappointing. It's like
I saw that as well.
Yeah, like it got some low scores, and I'm just like I thought the game was kind of interesting so far. But I mean,
they have full playthroughs and overall, so we may become disappointed towards the end. So
that's true. That's true. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not a complete shit show. I guess we'll see though. I'm also hoping that same thing out of Imio whenever I finally sit down to play it, because I played Chapter 1, and Chapter 1 already alone like has me hooked, and I Christina's dead ass adamant. She's where I keep saying like dumb shit, like just yeeting predictions out. She's like, it's not that kind of game. I'm just like, I think it's that kind of game where we're getting all these like little teases of things. Like, I think he's the killer. She's like, it's not that kind of game. It's like, I don't believe you. I think it's that kind of game. But I mean, it's pretty interesting through the Chapter 1 that I played of the demo. I'm gonna probably play it more later. Where the first case that you have opened up was a high school kid that was murdered in a park, and he had the smiling bag put over his head, and then you just kind of open up a can of there was a string of murders like 18 years ago that were all similar. There was 3 teenage girls that were all murdered, all with put the bags over their head, and there's also like the urban legend of the smiling man. So there's a lot of different elements that are all kind of popping up and all kind of being brought together. But I keep pointing out different things to her. It's like, I think this person's sus as fuck. She's like, it's not that kind of game. It's not that. I think it's that kind of game. Like, these people are sus. But no, looking forward to playing that, and actually hopefully it is actually as good as I'm reading that it is, and it is actually just a really disturbing story, which I'm down for that. I like horror games like that.
Speaking of horror games, but not horror games, I've been introducing some people to some jump scares.
Ooh, here we go.
A Deadlock with Bebop.
Yeah, he was just telling about this before we started.
I was just, I saw some comments of a video of Deadlock earlier where people are like, I don't care what anybody says, getting hooked by Bebop from across the map is one of the biggest jump scares you'll ever have in a game. And actually got to play with Zach some.
Yeah.
He's hopped in a few times to play.
Overall, what's your thoughts of it?
It's solid.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, it's a very solid MOBA. Once ever it becomes public, I mean, it's going to be up there. It's going to probably stay fairly community generated and just people playing consistently.
So I did, I also got the invite and I got it installed the other day. Haven't jumped on it yet. And I was telling him before we started, I'm low key scared to jump on because you know how bad I am at keyboard mouse. So I'm scared I'm just gonna jump in. I'm gonna get brutally manslaughtered and just never have any fun.
I mean, some of the lanes can be pretty rough because,
Yeah.
I mean, the 2 times John and me have laned together, we keep getting shitballed lanes.
I've over the past few days, I've had some oppressive lanes that I've had to face off against. But it's one where, yeah, I mean, hop in. You may get rolled once or twice, but I mean, can't be that bad. I've had quite a few games over the past few days where, like, eight to 10 people in the game have a real good grasp of what's happening,
Yeah.
and the other couple don't know what's going on.
I mean,
That's gonna be me.
I'm just now at the point of where I'm getting combat flow and everything, and I need to actually consider looking at what a build is.
Yeah. How many characters are currently in the game?
I think like 20.
That's not bad.
Somewhere around there.
That's not bad. Okay.
Yeah,
It's a decent roster.
I was gonna say it's got to be like 20 because I usually have like 6 people selected, and that's somewhere around a third or.
And I mean, in matches, you can't have any kind of mirror, so it's 12 different characters every match.
Yeah.
And then there's still at least a slew of characters not even in there. So, I mean, it's probably right around like somewhere between 20 25 currently.
That's not bad.
And apparently there's another character already in the works.
Yeah. Yeah, I may hop on and try it tomorrow. I may
Not
do
before
that.
11 a.m., you're not.
Yeah, well, I'll be busy before then anyway. So what are the hours?
11 to 5
11 a.m. to 5 a.m.
weekends.
Saturday through Monday, and then Monday or the Tuesday through Friday is like 3 p.m. to 5 a.m.
Okay. Then yeah, I may finally hop on tomorrow evening and give it a shot and see if I get brutally destroyed or not. I may need you guys to like shoot me a message or whatever and just go ahead and give me an idea. It's like, Alex, I think you might like this character. Like, you guys know how I play to some extent from HOT, so just let me know.
Well, the other thing is if you load in, if you go, it's like they have a sandbox.
Yeah.
Where you can hop in and just test a character's abilities.
And we
Okay,
can't
good.
guarantee you a character because it's not a lock-in system. It's you choose
Well,
a...
I know.
Okay.
But at least someone to kind of have a starting point with.
Yeah, you have to
try to learn.
You have to
know.
choose at least 3 people
Yeah.
to start a game.
Right.
I've slowly been narrowing my list down because I had like half the roster selected. And I was like, I'm just gonna play whoever I get. Now I'm like, no, I want to play like these 5.
Right. Yeah, I'll have to figure mine out. I love bruisers, especially. That's always been some of my favorite type of roles to play. It's just beefy people that can do
Yeah,
damage.
Abrams.
Abrams.
Screw Abrams.
Okay, I'll try him out in the sandbox.
Like the biggest. He's the tankiest boy.
I'm down for tanks.
He literally shoulder charges in you to steal your life and slap you in the face with his law book.
Yeah. No, I've always been more lean towards like either being like bruiser's always my preferred role, followed by probably tank and then support. Like damage is fun, but I'm just not the best. I'm okay with certain characters.
The thing is, like in this game, there's no like dedicated tank.
Yeah, there's
Because-
no like dedicated roles.
Because the way Deadlock works is you get 4 item slots, 4 for weapon damage, 4 for vitality, and 4 for spirit. And then as you
Complete
destroy
objectives.
as you destroy walkers, you gain more flex slots. So you get 4 additional slots after that.
Okay.
So every character builds damage, tankiness throughout the game.
And then Yeah, ability power. Spirit's pretty much ability power.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Well, I'll just have to go in the sandbox and figure it out then. I'll start with Abrams. I'll go start with him and see how he feels for me in my playstyle. And just kind of
Let's
go
say
from
what?
there.
Abrams, Magnus.
Warden.
Yeah, I was thinking Warden or
Warden's probably the closest thing to a bruiser.
I was thinking I can't think of his name. Ooze.
Viscous.
Yeah, Viscous.
I'd say he's harder to play.
He's more control. Yeah, you're right.
Well, he's more control, but he's got a lot more like finesse to him with his punch ability.
Oh, I could see that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll make the time and I'll hop on it tomorrow once I'm done working on some video
Or
stuff.
you could just play him Impy.
What do they do?
They turn into a giant statue and sit on your face,
Nice,
and then throw thorns.
nice.
Isn't that character's name Impy?
No, I don't know. I don't remember. It's like Inksy or something like that.
No, something like
Inky, something close to
You guys
that.
are close. That's the bottom line. Yeah, you guys are close to
Yeah.
it.
It's the package delivery character.
that. Yeah.
You pick up your ultimate is you can pick up an ally and fly him around.
And then drop him like a bomb.
Oh, that's cool.
She's supposedly supposed to be a support. I've never seen anyone support with her.
All right. Well, yeah. Like I said, I'll try it out tomorrow. I got it. I got the game installed, so I was gonna plan to try it this weekend. Beyond that, do you guys have anything else that you want to talk about? Anything you guys have played? John, I don't know if you're. I imagine you haven't touched it since you've been busy with Deadlock, but I saw where they had another Descendant come out for First Descendant, some sniper. Something?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Haley.
Haley, that's what.
Yeah,
it was.
I've watched. I've been keeping up with what's going on in First Descendant. I haven't been playing it as much, but I've been keeping kind of up to date with patch notes and character releases and stuff. Now Haley she's new kind of sniper character. She's the new best boss killer in the game.
Nice. I haven't progressed more on Black Myth. I'm still in chapter 3. Beat the dragon, and then I was gonna ask you the part.
Motherfucker.
What?
This motherfucker messages me and tells me, "Oh, I beat the yellow wind sage. Took me like 10 tries or some shit." This dude got stuck on the far easier boss of chapter 2 for like 4 hours, and then the boss that I get stuck on for like 2.5 hours, he beats in a couple tries. Or you probably like ran around and had. Did you do everything else in the chapter before you fought him?
Basically, so I fought him about probably 5 to 6 times, and I'm just like, I want to go actually like play the game, not just get my ass completely beat. So I'm gonna go run around the map and just do some stuff and maybe try to level up some more or whatever. So that's when I went and fought the giant beetle thing, the secret boss, and I was doing all these other side quests, and yeah, that's basically where we are. And then fighting the dragon only took me a handful of times.
It was a cool fucking fight though.
It was a cool ass fight. Violently got angry at one point because I got this fucker down to like 3% and he kills me. And I didn't play Wukong for I think 3 days after that before I got back on and finally beat him. I was so pissed.
That's one of the cooler like cinematic fights. Like I mentioned to you, like when we talked about it at first, it wasn't a hard fight, but it looked really cool.
Yeah. What's the part of chapter 3 that you hate? Is that like underground area?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. Because once I got down
Fucking
there,
sucked, didn't it?
I haven't got through it yet. Because once I got down there and I see where it looks like the thing from like Batman Begins, where Bane is from or whatever, talking
about the tall necks.
Yeah, that area. And I just look over, I see the ledge, and I'm like, that's where John jumped off the ledge. It's like that's where it was.
It's a wooden plank that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
The tall necks only show up when your eyes are glowing red.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I didn't know when they showed up. I just noted they were just showing up. I didn't know how or when.
Couldn't tell you why or what makes your eyes glow red or what, but
Yeah.
when your eyes are glowing red and your health bar shrinks, that's
Yeah.
when the tall boys come up.
Okay. Yeah, haven't got through there yet. It sucks. Not a fan of it. So I have taken a break from Wukong the past few days. I've got back on my bullshit. And I'm playing Cyberpunk right now and having a really good time with that. So
Yeah, yeah. Overall, like I said, chapter 3 was probably my. It wasn't my favorite chapter, but it had some of my favorite boss fights so far.
right.
Chapter I haven't played anymore in the last week. Been obsessed with Deadlock for the past week.
Yeah, I mean, I'll hop back on Wukong
I plan on
soon.
playing tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Like I was telling John, though, before we started the show, since it's been a couple weeks now since the game came out, I have now started getting in my algorithm like later spoilers. And I came across a spoiler of either one of the final bosses, a final secret boss, or something. And
Well, I think there's an ending,
Yeah,
and then there's a true ending.
right. Either way, like this would be like you would safely assume one of the final bosses in some capacity. Disrespectful as fuck, man. This boss fight is so disrespectful. It's 10 out of 10. Like a couple of clips that I saw of what the boss does to you, like it's just like you just don't see it coming, right? Because like you're playing the game and you go to initiate a normal action, and this is me trying not to spoil what the boss is. You know, you go to initiate an action, all of a sudden now you're in a cutscene and the boss just gives you the middle finger, basically. You know, you're in the middle of preparing a charge attack and the boss is just looking like a dumb AI, just swinging. You know, and you're just kind of going up, and then the boss 180s you and just beats the shit out of you. Like, dude, it's disrespectful as hell. I am not looking forward to fighting him at all, in the slightest. It looks like an insanely hard boss fight from what I've seen, but very well done boss fight.
I would actually be looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So I will say there's like because also as well I'm getting some stuff in my algorithm now. There's certain bosses throughout the game where I've heard people go on rants about how hard the boss was, how long it took him to beat, and I'm like, I beat it on my second try. I
Right.
didn't think that was the hard fight. But then meanwhile, I'll get stuck on a random fight here and there where I'm there for 2 hours.
Or me with 4.
But yeah, it's like there's some here and there where it's like, yeah, I guess it's just one of those things where some builds and play styles are just not gonna work.
Yeah. Yep. I've been adjusting my build almost nonstop too. For any boss that gives me a struggle, I always adjust my build. I know
Power
you,
through.
you just go.
Brute force.
Yeah, you just go. You're beating your skull against the wall until you get through that wall. See,
I like my play style, and my play style will work eventually.
eventually. Respect. Oh, you guys got anything else that you want to chat about? If not, I can start going through the pretty short weekly wrap up I've got.
I'm good.
Before we do that, let me shout out Agent Inc. You can use the referral link down below and pick up one of our hats as well as one of the jerseys, and we'd appreciate that support, whether it be the Sparky 3, the AniMan Plus, or one of the others. We would greatly appreciate that. Use the referral link down below. All right, so going through the weekly wrap-up, still talking about Black Myth Wukong. Apparently, it's sold over 18 million units in its first 2 weeks. It's one of the fastest-selling games ever. It's estimated over 700 million in revenue, and a major expansion has already been confirmed.
Yeah,
Shout out to that.
I think in the article I saw it was like major expansion and kind of green light for another game.
Good.
Continuing on the journey to the west.
Hope so. 'Cause I don't know how this ends, so hopefully, you know. I feel like there's all sorts of possibilities that you can do there, you know. So, looking forward to seeing what the expansion is going to be, and looking forward to Wukong 2 would be pretty sick. I feel like you'd be hard pressed not to do a second one with how much this game was a success. You know, I feel like it's a layup, but I don't know. Next thing, please, 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 God, let it be true, because I'm tired of the random bullshit news that's not news. Switch 2 is expected to be revealed this month per multiple sources that I trust and follow. And a fun fact I came across: apparently, Nintendo spent nearly $910 million over this last fiscal year on research and development.
What? Where does Nintendo get this money?
The Sea of Japan.
Because it's one of those things. Because like, yeah, Switch games sell, but a lot of the, like half of the Nintendo eShop is like $5 and below games.
Here's the
that
thing.
people just keep rebuying.
There's a lot of stuff that's in the Japan version of Switch eShop that we never see over here in the West.
That's true.
It's just one of those where you see that and it's like, man, Nintendo's just got dumb money.
They do.
You forget it every now and then something like that comes out. It's like, damn, Nintendo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. That's a lot of money on just research and development, which I mean, that's a good thing though. I feel like hopefully laying us up for what the next console being a
that's-
success.
That's damn near Bethesda.
It's true. True. That's facts, dude. No, I hope to God and pray that this month we do get the reveal. It would line up with the Switch reveal. The Switch reveal, I think, was around like September, October, and then released Q1 or Q2. I think it was March, so Q1 of the next year. So it kind of timeline-wise, it matches the original Switch. So please just get it over with, dude.
I really hope so because it feels like about every 3 months for the last 2 years, you're putting Switch 2 rumors on here.
Yep. And it also goes back to like I'm tired of these pieces of news. It's not news. So like the big one that was the news this week was something that I feel like's already been news a million times. I mean, I'm glad that people are like, you know, sources I trust and follow are reaffirming, yes, this is going to be a thing. I'm glad it's a thing. I'm glad we're reaffirming, but how is this making any headlines in my timeline? Is that the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible? It's like, no shit, Sherlock. It's all the same like ecosystem. You know, like they are like Nintendo already low key confirmed that when they said for the first time ever, that we're going to be carrying accounts over. Like you don't have to make a new account on a console. Like clean slate. Because Nintendo's always done clean slate until now. So I'm glad that it's getting reaffirmed in the news this week, but it's like I see these headlines, like multiple people talking about it or multiple articles. It's like Switch 2 will be backwards compatible per these sources. I'm like, cool. Like, I feel like we already knew that. Thanks. Please, God, reveal the damn console this month. Acer announced their first handheld gaming PC with the Nitro Blaze. 7-inch variable refresh rate, 1080p display, and it does have AMD's new Ryzen chip. So Ryzen's throwing their hat into the race of the handheld gaming PC market. It's getting a little bit of a crowded market, I would say. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff coming out, and there's a lot of plus and minuses to all of them. But like something that I came across recently, because Christina really wants a handheld gaming PC, like desperately, but she doesn't know what to get. And I was kind of in the boat. You should get the Asus ROG, so that way you can access your Steam stuff as well as access Game Pass and be good, right? Fair point. Asus ROG seems to have great reviews. It's got the OLED version now. But I came across one thing that I thought was really interesting. I didn't think about that. Where it's just like, yeah, with the Steam Deck, you know, yeah, you can uninstall Steam OS and put Windows on there, but apparently it's a pain. But the one thing that a lot of people said about the Steam Deck that makes it superior still is the fact that it has those trackpads, whatever. Because it's just like, yeah, you can get the Asus ROG to go play like whatever on Steam and stuff, but that Steam game you might be playing may not have like what would be controller support, and it's difficult to play. So that like I saw people on like Reddit and stuff like that's why the Steam Deck in my mind is superior because it's got those pads, so I can really play almost any game. It's just like, oh well, shit, that's actually that's a fair point. That's a good point. So I don't know. I feel like it's getting a little bit of a crowded market because we've got like, you know, the Steam Deck that's kind of leading the way. We got the Asus ROG, which is doing its thing. There is the Logitech G Cloud, which apparently sucks. So shout out to that. You know, Acer's now got theirs, and there's another one. I'm drawing a blank on whose it is. Oh, MSI, the Claw. Yeah, MSI Claw. They've got one too. So it's getting a little bit of a crowded market, but I don't know. I mean, shout out to handheld gaming though. Hopefully now Sony jumps back on the boat, and hopefully Xbox jumps on the boat for the first time. Atlas announced Sodro's signature curry sauce and spice blend to be purchased off their site along with the other P5R hot sauces. So shout out to that. I still would like to get those hot sauces at some point. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown DLC Mask of Darkness launches 9/17. Don't forget that game came out this year.
Yep, back in January.
I keep forgetting about it. It was really good apparently, and it came out this year. So that's going to be one that's going to be kind of probably forgotten about come award time. Besides maybe like one or two categories, because it's like you came out in January, you're kind of a well afterthought. So shout out to that. Shinji Mikami, who was leading Tango Gameworks, who left Tango Gamesworks, he said he thought Tango would be safe as long as they kept making Hi-Fi Rush. And then they got shut down, which brought him by surprise. And now he's very happy that they're not shut down. And whoever makes, was it PUBG? I think that's
Yes.
what it was. They
PUBG
bought him.
picked them up.
So he's happy about that, but he was very shocked when they got shut down. He thought as long as they made Hi-Fi, they'd be fine. So unfortunately not. But either way, as long as Tango gets to live, that's the big plus here. Last thing I've got is a rumor that Final Fantasy Slate will be coming to Xbox featuring Pixel Remaster 16 and 7 Remake. I'm going to call doubt on the 7 Remake. I can believe the other two. I'm going to call doubt on 7 Remake. But I feel like those are going to be... All three of those games will remain on PlayStation only. That's my personal opinion. But 16 and Pixel Remaster, I can say, because isn't Pixel Remaster also on Switch? I think it is. So, I mean, like, it's on Switch, it's on PlayStation. That one makes perfect sense to send over to Xbox, and I can just see Final Fantasy 16 going over. I can see that. But I'm calling doubt on 7 Remake. I'm calling doubt on that one. You guys got any news that you want to shout out that maybe I didn't shout out?
I got nothing.
I don't think so.
All right. Last thing we got is Gamestetic Game of the Week. Who was it?
It would be me this week,
Okay.
since you were lost last week.
I was lost. Shout out to Pokemon Conquest.
So I'm going to go with a PS2 game called Shadow of Rome. Ooh. Shadow of Rome is a single-player narrative following two different characters, a dishonored Roman centurion who ends up being part of the gladiatorial games and cross the Roman Empire, and then a friend of his who's investigating the happenings that's going on in the Roman Empire. So the game's half action as the Roman Centurion, where you more or less do a circuit of all the different gladiator arenas, each with their own little thing. So like, first one's just gladiatorial fights, second one's against ferocious beast. There's one up north that's you're fighting gladiators with a bunch of wooden bladed contraptions going on around the map. There's a whole chariot race section. Finally leading to the Roman arena where it's just everything besides the chariot racing in just a string of games. Mm-hmm. Overall, the combat's solid. Enjoy the whole system of it all. It's because all the weapons and shields do have durability maximums. So it is very keen on being able to kill your opponents so you can take their stuff and use for yourself. And then the other half of it is playing as his friend who's investigating. So no comment on that end, but it is a lot of interesting puzzle solving of I need to get here, I need to hear these people, what items can I use to get past people and things like that. Mm-hmm. Overall, a very solid gaming experience. Yeah.
Nice. Another week of Gamestetic Game of the Week in the books. Last thing I wanted to shout out, because just Gamestetic Game of the Week reminded me of this. So I did check out the GameStop Retro that is in our local area,
okay.
And I'm tying that together how I remembered it because they had Rogue Galaxy or Lost Galaxy. What was it? The one that you just did recently? Rogue Galaxy PS2 game.
I mean, Rogue Galaxy, yeah.
Okay, so that was it. Yeah, so they had one of those in stock. So that's why it dawned on me to remember GameStop Retro. Not impressive.
What?
GameStop Retro, not impressive.
Oh, okay.
No,
I was about to say, you just in Rogue Galaxy?
No. And it was so funny too, because like we were walking on the store. It's a good Squarespace store, right? It's like, where the hell is it? Do they not have it yet? And I ran it. It was in a corner. It's like a 6-foot section. And 90% of the games they have do not have like original cases. So it's just like red GameStop cases everywhere.
Oof.
Not impressive. Now, we did leave with something. We found one of the Harvest Moons on the GameCube that she doesn't have for like $15. Had manual in it, good condition. So it's like, okay, yeah, we'll grab that. Yeah, they had Halo Combat Evolved, $5. All right, cool. It's pretty cheap anyway. It looked like it was in great condition. Had a couple others here or there. Had a couple GameCube games that they had F-Zero GX. I think they had they had one of the Donkey Kong GameCube games. I think it was Jungle Beats. I don't think it was Kong. I think it was Jungle Beats. They had a shot to that, but not impressive at all. Like, just no cases across the board. Prices were fine, I guess, and it was funny. The person that works there made a comment that, oh yeah, everyone's been really impressed with the retro section, and me and her both were just like, it's not that impressive. I mean, have you been up the road? Because that Game Exchange is very impressive. It's like, it's not that impressive, buddy. But okay, whatever. I don't know. Shout out to GameStop Retro, I guess. Some people are finding some good shit. We found one thing, but everything else there was just, it was. A deal breaker for me is the cases. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't want to buy a game if it doesn't come with its case. That's just my personal opinion on collecting. So it wasn't that impressive as that. But anyway, all right. So let's get out of here. Let's hit the music and go around the room.
Like, comment, subscribe, rate, whatever your platform allows. It does help. Let us know how you feel about Concord only surviving 2 weeks.
All right, yeah, do everything he said and more. And if you like what you saw with us, want to see us do this live, we do these live streams every Saturday, about 6 p.m. Central Time. So come check us out.
Make sure to also check out our sponsors, Agent Inc. and Rogue Energy, with the referral links down below. We'd appreciate that extra support. You can use promo code Sparky3 over at Rogue Energy. Join the Discord. Check out our Patreon as well as our own personal shop, Sparky3shop.com. And like I said, we're live pretty much every single Saturday. We also got a Terrible Football show going on right now, live every Tuesday. So you can go check that out at the brand new channel, Terrible Sports Network. Until next time, guys, have a good one. Bye.